Part 2, Chapter 1, Vermissa.
It was the 4th of February, 1875. It was evening, and the train was travelling to Vermissa, USA, the small town at the top of the valley. The train was full of miners who had been working all day. In the first carriage there were also 2 policemen and 1 other young man sitting alone. He was about 30 years old, with brown hair and grey eyes. He stared out of the window into the darkness. At one point he took a large gun from his pocket. It was loaded. He checked it quickly, then replaced it. But a miner sitting near him had noticed it.
"Oh,"
he said.
"you seem ready for action."
The young man smiled.
Yes,
He said.
we need them sometimes where I come from.
"And where's that?"
Asked the miner.
Chicago.
Answered the young man.
"You might find that you need it here, too."
Is that right?
Asked the young man, surprised.
I'm looking for work here.
"Do you have friends here?"
No, but I can make them.
Answered the young man.
I belong to the ancient order of freemen. There's no town without a lodge, so I'll find my friends there.
The other man's manner changed. He got up, came over to sit next to the young man, and held out his hand. The 2 men shook hands in a special way.
"I see you're telling the truth."
Said the miner. Then he raised his right hand to his right eyebrow. The young traveller raised his left hand to his left eyebrow.
"Dark nights are unpleasant."
Said the miner.
Yes, for strangers to travel.
Answered the young man.
"That's good enough for me. I'm Brother Scanlon, Lodge 341, Vermissa Valley. Welcome."
Thank you. I'm Brother Jack McMurdo, Lodge 29, Chicago. Master J.H. Scott. I'm lucky to meet a brother so early.
"But why did you leave Chicago?"
Asked the miner. McMurdo nodded towards the policeman.
They'd be very interested to know.
He said.
But I don't really want to talk about it. I've my own good reason for leaving Chicago.
"Okay. Where are you going tonight?"
To Vermissa.
"That's the 3rd stop. Where are you staying?"
With Jacob Shafter, Sheridan Street.
"Well, I'm getting off at the next stop, but I'll give you some advice. If you're in trouble in Vermissa, go and see Master McGinty. Maybe we'll meet at the lodge one evening."
The train stopped and the miner got off. The train moved off.
"You're new around here, then?"
One of the policemen asked McMurdo.
What if I am?
He answered rudely.
"Just be careful who you choose to be your friends. I wouldn't start with Mike Scanlon and his gang if I were you."
What business is it of yours who my friends are?
Shouted McMurdo. Everyone looked round at him.
Did I ask for your advice?
The 2 policemen were shocked.
"No offense, stranger. It was a warning, seeing that you're new here."
I'm new here, but I'm not new to you and your kind.
Shouted McMurdo.
You're all the same, giving your advice when nobody asks for it.
"Well, we'll probably be seeing more of you by the sound of it,"
said one of the policemen.
"You're a troublemaker if ever I saw one."
I'm not afraid of you,
cried McMurdo.
My name's Jack McMurdo, and if you want me, I'm staying at Jacob Shafter's at Sheridan Street, Vermissa. So I'm not hiding from you, am I?
A few minutes later, the train stopped at Vermissa Station, and McMurdo and many of the other miners got off the train. McMurdo was about to walk off when one of the miners stopped him. "You really know how to talk to the police," he said admiringly. "I'm passing by Shafter's place. Let me carry your bag and I'll show you where it is." Many of the other miners said good night as they left. Before he had even arrived in the town, Jack McMurdo had a reputation in Vermissa. The 2 men walked along. "That's the Union House," said the miner, pointing to one of the bigger buildings. "Jack McGinty is the boss there."
What's he like?
"Haven't you heard of him? He's been in the papers often enough because of the Scourers."
The Scourers? Aren't they a group of murderers?
Asked McMurdo. "Shh!" cried the miner. "You won't last long here if you talk like that on the street so that anyone can hear you. There are murders, but McGinty's name mustn't be connected with them. He hears everything. Now, "Here's Jacob Shafter's house,"
Thanks.
said McMurdo. He knocked on the door. It was opened by a beautiful young woman. She was blonde with dark eyes. McMurdo stared at her, lost for words. She spoke first.
"I thought it was Father,"
she said.
"Are you looking for him? He'll be back soon."
I'm in no hurry,
said McMurdo at last.
but I'm looking for a place to stay, and your house was recommended to me.
"Well then, come in, sir. I'm Eddie Shafter, Mr. Shafter's daughter. My mother's dead, so I run the house. You can wait by the fire for my father. Ah, here he is now."
An old man walked slowly up the path. The two men talked, and Jack McMurdo agreed to pay $7 a week to stay with them. McMurdo quickly became popular at the Shafters' house. Within a few days, everyone knew who he was, and they liked and respected him. He had also fallen in love with Shafter's daughter, Etty, and told her so every day. He was determined to marry her, even though she told him that she had already promised to marry someone else.
Chapter 2. Meeting Boss McGinty.
One evening, Mike Scanlon came to see McMurdo.
McMurdo, why haven't you been to introduce yourself to Master McGinty?
He asked.
I had to find a job.
Replied McMurdo.
I'm working as a bookkeeper now.
Scanlon seemed worried.
But you have to see Boss McGinty,
he said.
The lodge isn't the same here as it is in Chicago. Go tonight.
But someone else wanted to talk to McMurdo that evening. Mr. Shafter called McMurdo into his room and asked him about his feelings for Etty, his daughter.
"It's no good, McMurdo,"
said the old man.
"Someone has got there before you."
Yes, Etty told me so, but she won't tell me his name. So who is it?
Said McMurdo.
"It's one of the Scourers,"
said Shafter.
"His name is Teddy Baldwin."
Who are these Scourers? Why are you all so afraid of them?
"The Scourers are the ancient order of freemen,"
replied the old man.
But I belong to that order myself,
said McMurdo.
"You? I wouldn't have let you into my house if I had known that."
But why? The order is for charity and friendship. The rules say so.
"Maybe in some places, but not here,"
said the old man.
"Here they are a group of murderers. It's bad enough that I have one of these people coming after my Eddie, and that I cannot say no to him. I won't have another one staying in my house. You must leave."
McMurdo went to see Etty.
If I had been first, Etty, would I have had a chance?
He asked her. Etty started crying.
"Things would have been very different if you'd been the first."
She cried.
We can't be together because of a promise to someone you don't love? That's wrong, Etty.
"But I'm afraid of him, Jack, both for myself and my father. Can't we go away together somewhere else? We can take Father with us."
I can't take you away. I can't leave here yet. But I promise you, no harm will come to you or your father. But you may find that I am as bad as other men, Etty,
said Jack.
"Oh, no, Jack. I trust you,"
replied the girl. The door opened suddenly, and a handsome young man walked in. Etty jumped to her feet, looking alarmed.
"I'm glad to see you, Mr. Baldwin. You're early. Please sit down."
Mr. Baldwin did not sit down.
"Who's he?"
he demanded. Etty explained that McMurdo was staying with them.
"Well, McMurdo, this young lady is mine. Perhaps she told you."
No, I didn't know there was anything between you.
"Well, you know now,"
replied Baldwin.
"Perhaps you're ready for a fight, Mr. McMurdo."
McMurdo jumped up.
I am,
he cried.
Come on outside.
"Oh, Jack, be careful. He'll hurt you,"
cried Etty.
"Oh, it's Jack, is it? I see how it is. Well, I'll sort this out without getting into a fight."
He rolled up his sleeve and showed McMurdo a strange mark on his arm. It was a triangle inside a circle.
"Do you know what that means?"
I don't know and I don't care.
"Well, you will know. I promise you that. Perhaps Miss Etty can tell you about it. And you, girl, you'll come back to me, do you hear?
He turned and left the house. McMurdo decided to go straight down to the Union House and introduce himself to Boss McGinty, whose bar was crowded as usual. Boss McGinty was not an honest man, and he was getting richer and richer. As a councillor, he controlled taxes, roadworks, and various accounts for the area. The citizens of Vermissa were blackmailed into silence, scared that they might be killed. McMurdo went into the bar. He saw a tall, strong, heavy-looking man with black hair and a beard, who had to be McGinty. He looked friendly, but he had evil eyes. McMurdo walked up to the man, looked him in the eye, and introduced himself. He made a signal so that McGinty would know he was also a freeman. McGinty looked surprised, but then he took McMurdo to a back room. He sat down and, without saying a word, examined McMurdo carefully. For a couple of minutes he sat in silence. Then, suddenly, he pulled out a gun.
"If this is a game of yours, it won't last long,"
said McGinty dangerously.
That is a strange welcome from one brother to another,
replied McMurdo calmly.
"That's just what you have to prove, that you really are a brother."
McGinty then asked him some details about where he was made a freeman and the reason why he had left Chicago. McMurdo gave him a page from a newspaper. McGinty read it quickly. It was about the shooting of a man called Jonas Pinto in the Lake Bar in Chicago in January 1874.
"Did you shoot this man?"
asked McGinty.
"Why?"
I was making fake dollars. This man Pinto was helping me. Then he said he wanted to go to the police. Maybe he did, but I didn't wait to see. I just shot him and came down here.
"So can you still make these fake dollars?"
asked McGinty. McMurdo gave him a handful of notes.
Well, these aren't real,
he said. At this moment, Ted Baldwin walked in.
"So, you got here first, McMurdo,"
he said angrily. Boss McGinty wanted to know what the problem was. McMurdo told him about Etty.
She's free to choose for herself,
he finished.
"Between two brothers of the lodge, she certainly is,"
agreed McGinty.
"And that's your answer?"
shouted Ted Baldwin.
"You've known me for years, and now you take the side of this newcomer?"
McGinty jumped on him like a tiger. He grabbed his neck and threw him across the room.
"While I'm the master of this lodge, you'd better accept my rules,"
he shouted. Ted Baldwin nodded.
"So we're all friends, right?"
said McGinty.
"And there's an end to the matter."
Ted Baldwin was back on his feet. He nodded again, but he did not look happy.
Chapter 3 Lodge 341, Vermissa.
The next day, McMurdo moved from Jacob Shafter's and went to stay with Mrs. McNamara, who was a widow. Scanlon now also worked in Vermissa, and so he stayed at the same house. McMurdo was still allowed to go for meals with the Shafters, so his relationship with Etty continued to develop. One Saturday night, McMurdo was made a full brother of the lodge in Vermissa. He was warned that something might happen to him, but he did not know what it was. Many men had gathered for the ceremony. McMurdo was tied up and blindfolded. Then they took off his coat and rolled up the sleeve on his right arm. It was very dark, and McMurdo could hear the voices of the men around him. Then he heard Boss McGinty's voice.
"Jack McMurdo, are you a member of the Ancient Order of Freemen?"
McMurdo nodded.
"Are you from Lodge number 29, Chicago?"
Again, McMurdo nodded.
"Are you ready to be tested?"
asked McGinty.
I am,
replied McMurdo.
"Very well."
McMurdo wanted to cry out because of the terrible pain in his arm. He felt faint, but he bit his lip, and he did not cry out.
I can take more than that,
he said. There was loud applause.
"I welcome you to Lodge 341, Vermissa. Let's drink to our new brother,"
said McGinty. McMurdo took off his blindfold and examined his arm. There was a circle with a triangle in it, burnt deep and red onto his arm.
So now to business,
said McGinty.
How's our bank balance?
And so McMurdo learnt of the way this community worked. Small companies gave money to the order so that they were protected. If they did not give money, machinery went wrong, buildings burnt down, and men were murdered. Nothing could be proved against the order, as most of the policemen were paid by the society, and the others were too scared to do anything. Nobody wanted to give evidence against the order. But towards the end of the meeting, another man spoke. Brother Morris told them of how one large company had forced all the smaller companies out of the valley and bought their businesses.
I don't see that it matters to us who has bought the businesses, Brother Morris,
said Boss McGinty. But Brother Morris continued.
With respect, sir, I think it will matter very much to us in the future. If big companies like the railroad or General Iron own large parts of this valley, and their bosses are in New York or Philadelphia, they won't care about our threats. The small men can't harm us. They haven't the money or the power. But if these big companies find that we are stopping their profits, they won't stop until they have brought us to justice.
But McGinty took no notice of Brother Morris.
I expect the big companies will find it easier to pay them to fight, the same as the small companies,
he said.
And now let's drink.
There was one last piece of business to be sorted out that night. The editor of the local newspaper, the Herald, had recently printed an article criticizing the lodge. His name was James Stanger. The headline was, Reign of Terror in the Coal and Iron District. McGinty read the article to the men, who were by now drunk and restless.
That's what he says about us. Now what shall we say to him?
He shouted.
Kill him!
Shouted back many voices.
No, we must be careful. But he must get a severe warning,
ordered McGinty.
Who will go this evening?
Ted Baldwin volunteered, with 5 or 6 other men.
Take our new brother with you,
added McGinty. Baldwin did not look pleased.
You can come if you want,
he said to McMurdo. It was a very cold night. The men walked through the town and stopped outside a high building.
You stay down here, McMurdo. Watch the door,
said Baldwin.
You others, come with me.
The men went in and up some stairs. From the room above came a cry for help, then the sound of crashing chairs. A grey-haired old man rushed out of the room. He was grabbed before he could go any further, and his glasses came falling down the stairs to McMurdo's feet. The old man was on his face, and the men hit him again and again with sticks. The others stopped, but Baldwin kept attacking the old man, who was now covered in blood. McMurdo went up and pulled Baldwin away.
Leave it! You'll kill the man! The boss said that we shouldn't kill him, and look what you're doing! We'd better go home.
The others agreed with McMurdo.
Hurry,
said one of the men.
There are lights coming on. All the town will be here in a minute. Run!
They left the beaten body of the editor on the stairs and moved quickly away up the streets and back to their homes.
Chapter 4. The Valley of Fear.
When McMurdo woke up the next morning, his head ached and his arm was very painful from the mark. Because he had his own illegal way of making money, he did not always go to work, and this morning was one of those times. He sat and read the paper. There was an article about last night's events. Editor seriously injured at the Herald office, was the headline. McMurdo put down the newspaper. The landlady brought him a note. It read,
I want to speak to you. Meet me on Miller Hill. I have something important to tell you.
The note was not signed. McMurdo was surprised, but decided to go. When he got to the hill, Brother Morris was waiting for him.
I wanted to ask you something, but please don't tell Boss McGinty. When you joined the Freemen's Society, did you think that it would lead you to a life of crime?
He asked.
If you call it crime,
said McMurdo.
Some call it war.
Of course it's crime,
cried Morris.
When I arrived here, I wanted to do the best for myself and my family. But then I was forced to join the lodge in order to carry out a murder. I went, but I couldn't do it. But it made me a criminal. I was a good Catholic, but now the priest will no longer speak to me. I see you going the same way. Can't we do anything to stop it?
What are you going to do?
Asked McMurdo.
I think you're making too much of this.
Too much? Wait until you've been here longer. Then you'll understand how it is. There's a cloud over this valley, a cloud of murder. It's the valley of fear, the valley of death. These people are terrified from morning until night. Wait and you'll see.
I'll tell you when I've seen more. You're not the man for this place, that's clear. Why don't you sell your business and leave? What you have said is safe with me. I'm going now.
Just one thing. Perhaps someone has seen us together. McGinty will want to know what we're talking about. Tell him that I offered you a job in my shop.
Good thinking, and I refused your offer. Goodbye, Brother Morris.
The same afternoon, McGinty came to McMurdo's house and asked why he had been with Morris. McMurdo told him the story.
Did Morris say anything against the lodge?
Asked McGinty. McMurdo told him that he had not. Just as McGinty was about to leave, the door crashed open and Captain Marvin of the police walked in with 2 other policemen.
You're coming with me, McMurdo. Take his gun,
said Marvin.
What have I done?
Asked McMurdo.
You can't do this,
said McGinty.
You stay out of this, counselor,
said the policeman. Then he turned to McMurdo.
You were involved in the beating of Mr. Stanger at the Herald office last night.
Well, he can't have been,
said McGinty.
This man was at my bar all night playing cards with me.
Well, we'll see about that in court,
replied Marvin.
Come on, you're coming with me.
But the freeman had power even over the courts. The next morning in court, the witnesses were uncertain as to the identity of the men who had attacked Mr. Stanger. Stanger himself said that he was so taken by surprise that he did not see his attackers. McMurdo was released. The court was full of brothers who cheered and applauded, but there were others there who looked less happy. One man shouted as they went out,
You murderers! We'll catch you yet!
McMurdo's arrest made him even more popular in Vermissa. Only Ted Baldwin and a few other members of the lodge did not like him, but McMurdo also lost favour with another person far more important to him, Etty. Her father wanted nothing to do with him. Etty was very much in love with McMurdo, but her common sense told her that it was better not to marry a criminal. She decided to go and see him one last time, to try to get him away from the evil influence of the lodge.
But you don't know what you're asking me. Do you think the lodge will let a man go free, knowing all its secrets?
But I've thought of that. Father has some money saved up, and he is ready to leave this place. Let's go together to New York or Philadelphia.
But they have lodges there, too. We can't get away that easily,
said McMurdo.
Well, to England or Sweden, or anywhere to get away from this valley of fear.
Look, Eddie, the best I can say is that in 6 months or so I'll find a way so that we can leave here with no problems.
Really? 6 months?
Etty was happy.
Is that a promise?
I promise,
said McMurdo. Life in the valley continued as before. The Scourers murdered people and terrorized the district. McMurdo was given a job of his own to do. He had to blow up the house of a man named Chester Wilcox. There was no other way of doing it except at night, when his wife and 2 small children were also in the house. McMurdo set the explosives, and the house blew up. However, someone had told Wilcox that he was in danger, and the night before the explosion, he and his family moved to a safe place. But in general, life had never seemed so hopeless and dark in the Valley of Fear. One Saturday evening in May, Brother Morris came to see McMurdo again.
I must speak to you,
he said.
I spoke to you once before, and you didn't tell McGinty, so I know I can trust you. I have something to tell you.
The man was white and shaking. McMurdo gave him some whiskey and waited.
There's a detective after us,
he said.
You've heard of Pinkertons? When they send a man after you, they don't stop until they have what they want. The lodge will be finished.
We must kill him,
said McMurdo at once.
Who is he? Where is he? How do you know about him? Tell me the facts.
Morris answered all McMurdo's questions.
His name is Bertie Edwards, but here he's using Steve Wilson as his name. He's staying in Hobson's Patch. I know because I have a friend who works for the telegraph service. He told me about him. Those big corporations have hired Pinkerton's best man.
Leave this to me,
said McMurdo.
Don't worry.
McMurdo went to the Shafters. He told Etty the news and asked her if she was willing to go with him when the time came to leave.
Day or night, Jack, I'll be ready when you come for me,
she said.
Chapter 5. Bertie Edwards's Trap.
Later that evening, McMurdo went to the lodge. As it was Saturday, the brothers were already there. Jack went to his seat.
Master,
he said,
I have urgent news.
McMurdo told them what he knew and what he planned to do about it.
There's only one answer,
said McMurdo.
Bertie Edwards must never leave the valley,
said Baldwin.
Exactly,
agreed McMurdo.
Here's what we'll do.
He told them his plan. Bertie Edwards was pretending to be a journalist called Steve Wilson. He had spoken to McMurdo, offering him money for information on the Scourers. McMurdo had told him some stories that he had made up, and Wilson gave him $20. Wilson offered him more money for more information. McMurdo arranged for Wilson to come to his house so that he could tell him all the secrets of the lodge in exchange for more money. Wilson was to come to Mrs. McNamara's house at 10 o'clock. The house was isolated, and Mrs. McNamara did not hear very well. 7 of the other freemen were to come to the house at 9 o'clock, ready for Mr. Wilson.
Once we get the door shut behind him, that'll be the end of Bertie Edwards,
said McMurdo. McMurdo returned home and prepared for the evening ahead. He cleaned and oiled his gun. He spoke to Scanlon, who was also staying at the house. Although he was a scourer, Scanlon did not like what the men did. McMurdo told him to go out that evening and stay away until the morning. The 7 freemen, including Boss McGinty, arrived at 9 o'clock. McMurdo put the whiskey on the table, and the men began to drink, ready for the job that was ahead of them.
Maybe he won't come. Maybe he knows there's danger,
said one of the men.
Don't worry, he'll come,
said McMurdo.
Listen.
There were 3 loud knocks on the door.
Be quiet,
whispered McMurdo to the others. He went down the passage to the door. The others heard McMurdo open the door, then an unfamiliar voice. Then they heard the door close. Bertie Edwards was inside. The door opened and McMurdo reappeared. He came to the end of the table and looked at the men. He said nothing.
Well,
said McGinty impatiently.
Is he here?
Yes,
replied McMurdo slowly.
Bertie Edwards is here. I am Bertie Edwards.
The room was silent. Then the windows were suddenly broken, and guns were pointing in through them. McGinty jumped up from his chair and ran for the door, but Captain Marvin of the police appeared and pointed his gun at him.
Stay where you are, McGinty,
said the man they had known as McMurdo.
Take their guns, Marvin.
The men could do nothing. They were trapped. They sat around the table, staring at McMurdo with confusion and hatred in their eyes.
I'd like to speak to you before we leave,
said the man who had trapped them.
I am Bertie Edwards of Pinkerton's Detective Agency. I was chosen to break up your gang. It's taken me a long time, and it's been hard and dangerous, but I've won. Maybe you think the game isn't over yet. I'll take my chances. You and 60 more of you will be in prison tonight. Before I took this job, I never believed that there was a society like yours. In Chicago, the Society of Freemen weren't bad men. I never killed a man in Chicago. I never printed any false money. I gave Chester Wilcox a warning so that when I blew up his house, he and his family were already gone.
You traitor!
Shouted McGinty.
You can call me a traitor, but there are many people in this valley who will call me a savior. I've been here 3 months in order to get to know every man and every secret. I never want to live another 3 months like it, not for all the money in the world. Now, Captain Marvin, take them away.
Scanlon had delivered a note to Etty and her father. The two left the Valley of Fear and never went back. 10 days later, Etty and Bertie Edwards were married in Chicago. The trial of the Scourers was held, and McGinty was hanged along with 8 others. Many other men went to prison. Bertie Edwards's job was done. But, as he had thought, it was not over. Ted Baldwin was not sentenced to death. He was in prison for 10 years, but when he came out, he spent all his time looking for Bertie Edwards. Bertie Edwards changed his name again and moved to California, and it was there that Etty Edwards died. He took the name John Douglas and was nearly killed when he was working in the mining industry with an English partner named Barker. A warning came just in time, and Douglas left for England, where he married for the 2nd time. And so we return to Sussex and the fate of John Douglas. At the trial, John Douglas was freed for having acted in self-defence, but Holmes's advice was to leave England. 2 months had gone by, and we had nearly forgotten about the case, but then, one night, a message arrived for Holmes. All it said was, "Dear me, Mr. Holmes. Dear me." It was from Moriarty. Holmes looked very serious. Later that night, Cecil Barker came to visit us.
I have very bad news, Mr. Holmes,
he said.
I thought so,
said Holmes.
It's poor Douglas. They tell me his real name is Edwards, but he'll always be Douglas to me. I told you that they left for South Africa 3 weeks ago?
Holmes nodded.
I received this message from Mrs. Douglas last night.
John has been lost overboard. No one knows how the accident occurred. Ivy Douglas.
It was no accident,
said Holmes.
He was murdered? These scourers, these criminals? Why couldn't they leave him alone?
No,
interrupted Holmes.
There has been a master at work here. This is the work of Moriarty.
But what has he to do with all this?
The Americans had a job to do in England. Like any other criminals, they asked Moriarty for help. From that moment, John Douglas was doomed.
But what can be done? Can't this Moriarty be stopped?
Asked Barker.
Oh, yes,
said Holmes.
He can be stopped. I just need more time.